Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. So if you've been on VidBit Future for the past couple days, you've probably seen the whole MrATandreiThomas viewbotting thing, and of course how it's really right now MrATandreiThomas versus RedExec. And this video here is kind of about that. It's not exactly meant to add fuel to the fire. It is just meant to put closure on the whole situation, just close this whole drama out, say everything as it happened, and really just put a closure to this whole thing and put the truth out there. But without wasting too much time on that intro, let's just get straight into this. The main reason why all of this started is because AM, actually, not RedExec, but AM had decided that he wanted to check the views on MrAT's channel because they were going up so drastically overnight. And when he checked the views, he found out that a lot of the views were coming from the same IP in London. Now, the one thing I don't know for sure here exactly is if any of these IPs were MrAT at all. I mean, even though MrAT does live in London, it does seem like in recent past that, I mean, he has not viewbotted. It didn't look like he viewbotted at all on the original VidBit, and early on VidBit Future it didn't look like he was viewbotting either. In all honesty, it's pretty easy to get 100 plus views each video when you're sharing it on Tumblr and Twitter and all of the social media that he shares his stuff on. When you start to share your videos like that, it gets pretty easy to reach 100 plus views each video. So after AM found out that all those IPs were coming, or all of those views were coming from the same IP, RedExec then did some instigating, and this is where RedExec himself stated that he like found the whole thing like wrong, because basically I talked to RedExec I talked to RedExec pretty regularly, and he says he's not completely in the right in this situation at all. Pretty much, he said there was a lot of things that he could have done better in this situation, and one of the things that he could have done better is the way this whole thing started. Instead of saying, hey, look, I'm a staff member and I think you might be viewbotting, but if you're not, I'm sorry, it started a little bit differently than that. RedExec started the whole conversation with, stop viewbotting, it's not fair. So then after that, MrAT replies with, back off that, you're more annoying than usual. I take orders from no one, especially you. I do as I decide, so fuck off. Now this is where a lot of the big drama and confusion really started, when RedExec said you're getting your verification mark removed for disrespecting a staff member and viewbotting. Now, here's the deal. That is not the reason MrAT got his verification mark removed. And it really is kind of ironic, but it just so happened that the real reason he got his verification mark removed was because of one of the absolute biggest coincidences in the world. Pretty much at the same time all of this drama was going down, AM and Blake were adding a new verification system to where you had to have a minimum of 25 subscribers to actually get a verification tick mark. And MrAT being under 25 subscribers, he got his verification mark removed, and so did 3/4 of VidBit Future. It really was a ginormous coincidence that this whole drama was going on as MrAT got his verification mark removed. So MrAT, if you're watching this, that is not what RedExec said there was not actually the reason that you got your verification mark removed. So then after that, MrAT replied, whatever, it means nothing to me now. Like I said, I don't take orders. So then RedExec replies with, it doesn't matter if you don't take orders, you still need to follow the rules to stay on the site. And that's pretty much where all of that ended, but there were so many things in this that could have made this whole situation not blow up and really stay small and made people like stay on AT's side that he wasn't viewbotting. And again, like I said earlier on in this video, I'm not 100% certain that he could have viewbotted at all. I mean, who knows, he could have been framed, he could have been set up, because as I said before, on the original VidBit, it didn't seem like he viewbotted at all, and early on VidBit Future, it didn't seem like it either. In my opinion, some of the things that RedExec did wrong on his side was he didn't exactly make it clear the whole time that he was a staff member. He just said you're getting your stuff removed because he disrespected a staff member, but he didn't ever exclusively say from the beginning, or like really any of the times in the conversation, that he himself was a staff member. Like I said, if he had just said from the beginning something like, you know, hey, I'm a staff member and I think you might be viewbotting, but if you're not, I'm sorry, then this whole situation wouldn't have blown up the way it did. He wouldn't have, like, nothing would have been fired up. Nobody would have been fired up over this. It would have just been a small thing. The part that I find wrong on Mr. AT's side wasn't the fact that he was just the way that he handled it. I mean, it's pretty understandable to get, like, you know, angry, to sort of get frustrated when you're just doing what you usually do. You're doing it normally. And then all of a sudden you get all these accusations that you're view botting, and you just have a whole bunch of crap coming your way, and your verification mark gets removed. And from a reason that you think you were disrespecting a staff member when really you weren't, or at least you didn't think you were anyway. When you really start to put yourself in Mr. AT's shoes, you start to realize more and more why he kind of responded the way he did, because of course I think anyone would be angry if you were just doing, you know, your normal grind, then all of a sudden you get accused of something you don't do, and you get a bunch of penalties for something that you didn't do. But the way I think Mr. AT could have cooled down this whole fire, even with RedExec's first original comment, was just sort of calmly responding to him in one comment and maybe one video saying, look, I don't view bot. But Mr. AT just got so fired up throughout this whole situation that in all of his comments, he didn't exclusively explain that he didn't view bot. All he really said was, I don't take orders. But all of this stuff is in the past now, and there's really nothing we can do to change all the comments that were said and all of the crap that happened throughout the site because of it. So Mr. AT, if you happen to be watching this video, all I ask is just give VBF one last shot, pretty much. I know some parts of the community may be a little iffy right now, but it is still very, very early on, and we're still trying to find every bug possible. And, you know, sometimes there's some unjustified stuff thrown at some users just because, you know, a lot of people are working hard. They're trying to find bugs, and when they see just a tiny thing suspicious with some users, something will happen. RedExec himself finds that this whole thing also got blown way out of proportion, and he, just like I did, wanted to reveal the whole truth of this entire thing. But AT, I can tell you right now that there's still a ton of the community on VidBit Future that is still waiting for more of your videos on VidBit Future, and I myself can especially say that while there were a couple videos of yours I disagreed with, I thought your rants on YouTube and Zipcast were absolutely spot on the issues that both those sites were having at the time. So I'm not saying you have to do this, but if I could give you one, like, if I could just ask you of something, please just give VBF a second chance, because it is still very, 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 very early on in the development of this site, and there is surely a lot more to be fixed on the site, but it is slowly but surely starting to get better. But anyway, that'll be about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to become a crafting lord. This is Crafting Lord 21, and I'll see you guys in the next video.